Hello friends, welcome to my channel, DLA Readings. I'm Draconis Lunae Amethistus. I'd like to start by thanking you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Your donations and your private readings are very much appreciated. I'm sorry I haven't been here for a little while. These energies that fluctuate through these portals and moons and eclipses affect me, I think, the opposite of most light workers and twin flames. People say, oh, I got so energized and I felt the energy shift, and I just get my ass kicked. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't have the right energy for channeling and doing readings. I literally shut down. And what's strange is this whole 16th issue with everyone awakening and the 17th being the new moon. I had the total opposite with the solar flare, and my energy just went through the roof. I am in a whole different space now. I feel energized, motivated, and I've already been in my mission, and actually reading for twin flames really isn't part of my mission. It's just part of what I felt needed to be done. I'm not going to judge or put down any person who's trying to help out there in the community with twin flames or readers or guides or coaches, whomever. If you can get help somewhere, that's great. I know what it's like to be in a place of questioning and wondering and new to spirituality and ascension and awakening. I mean, I understand. But having said that, I disagree with probably 90% of the information that's out there. And I can say that as a twin flame that has only understood that I'm a twin for maybe about a year and a half, to be completely honest. But I've been a light worker since I was a child. I've always known I was an indigo child. I've always known I was a light worker. That's been in my quote-unquote DNA. I've always known that I worked for Michael. That's just been, I've had the gift to be able to bring entities through the veil, and I, did that at 10. And sometimes the strength of my gifts scared me. It's why I brought an entity through the veil, was to actually protect me and help guide me through my learning experiences and growing. And tell you a little bit about myself. I'm here on a personal rant right now, and I apologize. If you want to skip ahead, I'll pin down below when the reading actually starts. But I just want to get some things cleared up, and I want to give you a background to know that I'm not just full of crap out here trying to push you to buy a reading from me or listening to my way. If this isn't my way, this is remembering. This is remembering and being shown where I came from, what I went through, how I got here. I actually rejected the twin flame issue when it was brought to me. I was in this relationship with my twin for a year, understanding why we weren't together, understanding what his outlook was towards me without him even saying anything. But I didn't have a label to put to it. I understood it because I'm very empathic and I'm very sensitive and I'm gifted, and I already learned to have patience with him. That wasn't even an issue. But then when I got smacked in the back of the head, and I was told by Archangel Michael himself that I was a twin flame, him and Angus, who is the keeper of the twin flames, I almost rejected it. And then they went on to tell me that I was one of the 144,000, and I absolutely rejected that. My mission that I was given is so big, I felt like I didn't have the time or level of understanding to take on such a burden. And once again, they do like to remind you that they don't give you any more than you can handle. But I kind of wanted to play let's make a deal. And I said, look, if you want me to do this mission that I'm not really comfortable with because it's not part of who I thought I was or who I thought I was going to be, then I don't want to be part of your 144,000. And then it was, oh, it's agreed. We'll make that deal and we'll cut you out of that. That was great. And then, you come to find out later on that, oh, that's not true. You are a chosen one. Well, I was chosen at 7 years old. I have a memory of being anointed by, I believe it was 7 I don't know, pastor, priests, ministers, I don't know what term you want to use for clergymen, but I was anointed by 7 clergymen. And if you know the meaning of the word Christ on its own, the definition is the anointed one. So the 144,000 at some point in their lifetime, this physical 3D lifetime now, should at some point have been anointed. They should have been, if they're chosen, they should have been anointed at some point in their lives. And yes, it sounds like crazy crackadoodle. I understand. Believe me, I've lived my whole life wondering why there were 7 men surrounding me and putting oil on my forehead. I don't know. It was a regular church. My parents were Methodist. I didn't choose religion at the age of 7. That wasn't something that I did. My religious path changed in my early teens. I released regular strict religion and went on my own way, but I understood there was more to life and the other side in my gifts at the age of 3. So I mean, it's been a part of me my entire life. So when I come to you and I want to and I share a reading, and I try to channel from my guides and from the angels and my higher self, whomever comes through and speaks to me, then I'm giving you the absolute truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to promise you anything, but I'm going to tell you this is how things are looking right now. And remember, this is only for an overall majority feeling from the collective, whether it be divine masculine or divine feminine. This is just like the consensus of the energy on that polarity at this point in time. Now, there's one more thing I want to say. I'm going to give you guys tidbits as we go along about the things I see on a daily basis through Facebook groups or readings online or wherever, these coaching and these things. I'm going to tell you some things that are truth, and they may not be your truth, and that's fine. Okay, I mean, everyone has to choose what is truth for them or not, and speak your truth, live your truth, feel your truth. That's fine. But my truth, mine, comes from memories, comes from experiences, comes from things that I am shown, comes from things that I am told. I get epiphanies regularly, and I'm like, sometimes things don't even make sense. My nephew, I'll call up and tell him, hey, I got another epiphany, and then he'll tell me, what have you been smoking? I want some. I know it sounds crazy, but I would think as an awakened individual, most people that are on the ascension path would kind of understand hearing the voices and getting these things that are like crazy and way out there. I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, I was told that we don't have imaginations, we have memories. Now take that. Now does that not make sense? Now let it roll around your head for a little bit. Imagination. Well, we dream up these incredible, flying cars or incredible buildings, or maybe an architect designs a building or someone designs a motor or some creature or whatever. Who's to say those things don't exist somewhere else? When they're thinking up an alien species, who's to say that our souls haven't come in contact with that species on another dimension in another lifetime somewhere else, and it's a memory? So when I say that I talk to the angels, I channel things, I'm telling you, they talk to me, and they show me, and they open up to my memories and things that are out there to prove that I'm not just dreaming stuff up and giving you my opinions. My opinions are my own. They're not for you to have, not for you to live by, not for you to care about. They're just mine. But I will give you truth. And so here is the truth that's going to be hard to swallow, and I may make a lot of people angry, but the number one true fact that really just chaps my hide, and I'm going to use the word fact. Fact. And I'm going to tell you why, because on a logical basis, which I'm a Pisces, so I'm half logical and half emotional. It's very confusing sometimes, but I'm an enigma. But what we have as twin flames, we are not, and I'm going to repeat it, we are not one soul split into two. We are not. We are two souls. Now let me start, first before I go into why and how we do become twin flames, I'm going to explain why we are not one soul split in two. It goes back to science. Now science says all matter vibrates on the same frequency and we're all a bunch of atoms crunched up together, and so that's all great. That's your science part. And mass never changes. Mass is always consistent. You with me? Okay. So when your soul, the easiest way created, I always like to say that the divine spirit God, whoever, whatever, is a big fluffy cloud, and a little piece of that cloud that's perfect and divine is picked off and plucked out, and your soul is created. You are a piece of the divine. You are perfect. So that's our basis of who we are. What we are is our soul. So then you can't take that soul, that piece of perfect divine that defines who and what we are, and split it. It's consistent, it's mass, it's energy, it stays the way it was created. It's not split. Who split it? Why did they split it? Ask somebody who thinks they're supposed to know. Ask somebody. Ask a twin flame reader. Ask anybody, how and where did our soul get split? Please, ask them. They don't have an answer. I guarantee you they don't have an answer. Because we're not. We are two souls. Souls are entities or beings, whatever you want to call it. We're energy sources that we learn, we grow, we experience, and being on earth is just another level of experience. We get to eat here, we get to have sex here, we get to have emotions here, we get to have all kinds of things here that we may not have on another dimension or another planet in another form. It just is. What we are two souls that have been through enough experience to know that on different dimensions and different planets, our gifts as light workers are needed to bring peace and love to other places, planets, dimensions, whatever. So we choose, not as baby souls, as mature souls, to go through a ceremony to unite, which is, for our human brains, we could explain it as like a marriage. In this ceremony, the officiant, if you want to call this person, we'll say, brings our energy frequencies to match perfectly so that we can always find each other no matter what dimension, whether we're incarnated, separated by dimensions, times, incarnations, whatever. We do not always incarnate together. We do not. We can, but we do not always. So, if you have chosen to go through this ceremony and unite with your twin, which is not completely uncommon, but it is a little bit rare. Not everyone chooses to do this. It's a contract, it's a commitment, and it is forever. I mean infinity kind of forever. So for the people that say you can walk out of your contract and you can change your mind and do what you want to do, no, you cannot. You cannot walk away from a true twin flame union, from that contractual, ceremonial, vibrational change union. You cannot walk away. But you are two separate souls living your individual experiences and growing as individual souls. What you did with the ceremony is come together and say, yes, we are light workers. Yes, we want to help all species and persons and whomever, wherever, whatever dimension, whatever planet. We want to sign up for this. It's like joining the military. So then they set your frequency to be exactly the same, so no matter where and when you are, you can find each other because you will vibrate at the exact same frequency. Back to science. We know that all molecules in our atoms and whatnot, they vibrate at a frequency. Everything, everyone, the table, the cards, everything vibrates at a frequency. Everything has its very own frequency. But the twins have been set to vibrate at the exact same frequency, so they will always return to each other. So when they see each other, when they meet, when they come together, they know. They can look in each other's eyes and they know that they vibrate at the same frequency and they automatically attract to each other like magnets. They remember the ceremony. They remember their commitment. They remember that they are here incarnated together on a mission. So it's not about them coming together in a relationship. They're already in a relationship. They're already in a marriage. That's why we say I agree with the 5D, that we are together in the 5D. We always are. We never separate. Our higher selves, our souls never separate. It's the 3D physical where we have life experiences from childhood on up to create who we are. How can we help somebody fix something in a circumstance that we haven't experienced to be able to help them through it? Let's just go, for instance, with like some type of childhood abuse, whether it's physical, sexual, whatever. Unless one of you has experienced that, how can you help somebody else live through it? And say, oh, well, I understand. You can't understand unless you experienced it, and that's why most light workers have a very difficult life until they come into understanding who they are, what they are, and understanding they can manifest and co-create their own future, their own destiny, and why they're here, what their mission is, and know that they are earth angels and they will be taken care of, and what the reasons for all the traumatic experiences were. So, sorry to have ranted for so long. I really do want to get on with this, but I do want people to just think about it, to understand how it makes sense logically, through science, through spirituality, through all of it, that we are two souls who committed to be together. No, you cannot jump off the twin flame train. If you think you can, or if you would like to, then I apologize for my bluntness, but you are not a twin flame. It's that simple. And everyone says that being a twin flame or choosing a twin flame is personal. Yes and no. Yes, it's to your understanding. But my question to you is, if you think you're a twin flame, which there's plenty of us out there, the number 144,000 is not the number of twin flames that are incarnated. It's the minimum number of twin flames it will take to defeat the darkness. That's what that number means. So that's for another video. I'll move on. But if you're not sure if you're a twin flame, please get a reading, find out, because it's more than a relationship. It's more than this runner chaser. There is no runner chaser. There's understanding. There's awakening. There's so much more to it than just this romantic relationship. The mission is why we're here. The mission is what we signed up for. And if you want to think that I'm full of it, that is perfectly fine. But I have been shown the memory of where my ceremony was performed. Me and my divine masculine were standing on a ledge, and it was almost where it was out, like a ledge of a mountain out, like in space, but it wasn't in space because the atmosphere is so much different there that you can actually stand out and just see just the stars. It's just like you're standing on like a little platform out in the middle of space, even though it was on some type of planet somewhere or some dimension. But I can see the ceremony. I can see what happened. I can see our making that choice, our signing the contract, our being officiated, the frequency resonation, all of it. I can see all of it. I experienced it. I can remember it. I was allowed to remember it. And we can all remember if we choose to. It's the choices we make about letting those memories go to have new life experiences. But now that we're in ascension and we're in mission, it's important to have those memories and to dig down and dig deep and know who you are and where you came from and why you're here, and to quit crying about, oh, he's not coming back, oh, she's treating me bad. We are too souls having our own life experiences. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to get into the reading. There'll be more next time. If you have questions or you want to beat me up about it, that's fine. I have no problem. But I'm here to speak the truth and break everything out. I can't take being silent anymore and just sitting back and disagreeing with these people out there that don't understand truly what they're talking about. They're just repeating things that they've heard or read or seen instead of going inside themselves as a twin and understanding where you came from as a light worker, most importantly. And there's the one other issue I'm going to really quickly. If you are a twin flame, you are a light worker, but not every light worker is a twin flame. But let me repeat the first part. If you are a twin flame, you are a light worker. Period. That's the way it is. You can only be a twin flame if you are a light worker. If you feel like you can compare yourself to Jesus and Mary Magdalene, who were twin flames, then there you are. You're a twin. You'll know it in your heart. You'll know it deep in your soul and your higher being. But anyhow, let's get on to what the Divine Masculine, the overall consensus of the masculine collective energy, is thinking. The Divine Masculine is currently thinking about trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. So he's thinking about the trust issues he's had from the past. I think most of the masculines that are unawakened, that have had life experiences of marriages that didn't work, relationships that didn't work, were cheated on. Like I said before, if we don't experience the painful, traumatic things, then we don't know how to help others get through it. So they're still trying to get through their trust issues, and they're learning to trust the Divine Feminine. That hasn't been so much of an issue as trusting themselves. I think a lot of masculines feel like they've withdrawn, they've made poor choices for themselves, they feel like it was their fault for the bad things that happened to them, and they're still working through that learning and forgiveness phase to get to be able to trust themselves. So it's not the feminines that they don't trust. This isn't geared towards the Divine Feminine. It's more geared towards the Divine Masculine himself and how he's thinking about trying to reach that place of trust for the both of them and the union together. So to clarify, we have the scythe and the clover. So the clover is actually very lucky, and he's feeling like lucky he could trust, but you have the scythe that's quick to cut through it. So it's about maybe half the luck of what you normally would, because you have the 6 of Wands here in the clover that would be lucky victory within itself, but then you have the Jack of Wands, which is passionate, quick moving energy that would just cut through his luck quickly. So it comes back to, like I said, the trust. He's got it for you. He's trying to have it. It's something that he's having to move through, and it's more about just him learning how to trust than it is himself, than it is just the Divine Feminine. It's him trusting in his ability to make proper decisions at the right time. So our Divine Masculine is feeling flirt this week. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. Now, to clarify flirt, we have the snake and the lady. Now, when I was pulling these, I had originally gotten like 2 or 3 cards at one time when I was pulling the clarifiers, and the snake had come out the first time, and I'm like, oh no, we don't really want to deal with that. I don't usually take 3 cards at one time, so I put it back. But the snake wanted to come out again. It came out twice. So The flirt with extending your lighthearted energy to others and getting the snake and the lady. The divine masculine is feeling like flirt is important in dialing things back. If he was to come forward, he's feeling like if he was to try to come forward right now and come to his divine masculine or divine feminine, I'm sorry, then he would need to come at a new place, a little lower, a little flirt. He's feeling like he wants to reach out and flirt because he's been bitten by a woman in his past. So he's been snake charmed by a feminine, and he wants to just kind of flirt and test the waters and take it easy. So these past things, like we have these trust issues from the past with a woman and his decision making, and he's brought that to feeling now. He's in the feeling energy with not trusting completely himself with the woman, and he wants to just kind of take it easy, feeling that he wants to just flirt and not jump too far into things. But he is ready. I mean, he's thinking about trusting. He's feeling flirtatious, and this is good. This is good energy, taking the baby steps, moving forward with the foundation of trust. Trust is the foundation for everything. And he's ready, and he's going to take action into true love. This is the romance of a lifetime. Now, what I mean by ready and going, when I asked for these cards for this space, I want to know what action the divine masculine is ready and going to take. I don't know what action he might think about. I don't want to know what action he's, got there sometime in the future. I want to know what he's ready to do right now. What is he ready to do right now? Right now, the general collective, the divine masculines, are ready for true love. They had the karmics. They had their time to experience what they don't want. Now they're ready and going to go after what they do want, which is true love. And to clarify that, we have the dice and the wishing well. So their true love, they're willing to take that risk, and they're wishing that she would be there. They could find the one. They're ready to take the risk, and they're making the wish, trying to find their one, their divine feminine. They know she's out there, and they're ready to put it all on the line. They're ready to take that chance, take that risk, and make the wish, and wish for their true love to come to them. I think that's absolutely beautiful. The risk and the wish. I mean, it's just, the feminines are the ones that have been wishing for, our true loves to come back. We've known who the true love was. I've known who mine was for 2.5 years, but I personally let go of mine, and I kicked into the curb, and that couldn't have been that was the best thing I could have done for myself, to be completely honest. For another video, I'll keep moving along. We have the divine feminine. What the divine feminine collective is thinking is this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Now we think we know the partner we've met is the one. And because women are more intuitive, I'm going to say feminines are more intuitive. You know how we roll in the twin flame community. The feminines are more intuitive and are more likely to be the awakened ones. So we know, we intuitively feel that could be the one. We already know which one our twin is. And then we have the man and the child as clarifiers. Now, the man, we have the beautiful man here. He is the Ace of Cups. He is our twin flame. We know who he is. And don't we all wish it was him? I'm kidding. He's beautiful card. These are beautiful cards, but my masculine's fine the way he is. And it's also clarified by a child. And in this deck, the child is actually one of those that is defined by more than symbolism, just is a child. And whether this has to do with being young enough to have children with your divine masculine, or whether or not one of you or the other has children, this is a kind of like a pre-made family or a future family when you get your castle and your everything that comes together with it. together. So this could be the one, meaning this is the one that you want to have the family with, and you're thinking that this is your man. This is your man with the children. There are children involved, whether you might be a step parent, you might be a new parent, things of that, but the entire family. So we have, this could be the one, the divine feminine's thinking she wants the whole package, she wants the family, this is the one, and she knows intuitively that this is where the train stops. The ships come in, and he is the one. The divine feminine is feeling chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. Well, we already knew there was a magnetic attraction because we think this could be the one. But the chemistry is clarified by the magnifying glass and the moon. So what we have is that we've already looked into our psychic intuition, we've increased our abilities, we've looked into our hearts, we've looked into our souls, we understand the connection between ourselves and the divine masculine. So we know the chemistry is there, we know the bond is there, we've seen it, we feel it. So we're feeling what I like to call, I feel like there's tentacles that leave my heart chakra and literally connect to his and intertwine. So that's the chemistry that I feel with my divine masculine, and I have seen visions. I've had visions of our future together several times over, whether it be our wedding, which I saw within the first month that I met him. Maybe 6 months ago, I saw him in a very big part of being a partner in our joint mission, and his part to play. I didn't know what his role would be until I was shown in a vision. So if you look at the visions that you see, as we are intuitive, most of us empaths, at least, some type of psychic ability. Here we've seen it. We've seen the chemistry. We feel it. We know in our whole being of what's to come, and what there is, and what we're bringing together with our divine masculines. Now, as far as what we're ready and going to do, we have separation for the divine feminine. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. And to clarify that, we have the mice and the coffin. Now, some people see the separation come up and we're ready and we're going to separate. Well, that's not necessarily, how would I want to say, not really a physical separation, but we need more of a mental separation. The mice represent running off and stealing of things, and the coffin represents an ending to what was. If we don't separate from our divine masculine and stop the way things are that don't work for us, and start into a new, completely end that era, end the whole phase of it, because we have had so many things come through that weren't right, little bits here and little bits there, and we have to let go of that. If you've ever had an argument with your twin, now personally, I have not one time ever argued with my twin. Never had a crossword, never had a raised voice, never had any kind of anger or negative tone. I don't even get told no. But we are in separation. But you have to put an end to, let's say you're the one that always initiates text messages and you never get anything back for weeks at a time, or it takes forever and they're short, and it's not what you want. If you're the one always initiating everything and you're putting yourself into a more masculine space, you're not allowing the divine masculine to be masculine, you're taking his energy from him and forcing him into a feminine energy. Then you need to separate and back off into your feminine energy and allow him to be the masculine. Quit stealing his energy and end the cycle of what you don't want. Separate and let it start again anew when the masculine comes to you and says, I would like to be with you, and you have your boundary, you have your line, and say, okay, this is what I want, this is what I need. What happened before will not be acceptable, so we're going to start something new from the beginning. And that's why he's filling the flirtatious space, because he's been hurt. He knows you are his true love. He will be able to accept you in your new goddess space, your goddess power, and knowing what you want. You'll be more attractive because you'll know what you want. You won't be so needy. You won't be depending upon him to just come after you and answer every little beck and call, because you'll be off in your own mission, doing your own things. When you separate, you will find yourself. I promise you. When you separate, you will come into union with yourself. What you need to do is give yourself all the love and attention you ever gave your divine masculine. It will bring him back. I promise you. And you will feel much better. You won't have so many issues with being lonely or sad. And you'll be like, what twin? You won't want to let him go. That's not the issue. You will just find yourself, which is important. This whole mission isn't about finding yourself and not having the relationship. That's not it. It is about finding yourself. Each of you, either the masculine and the feminine, finding themselves and then coming into balance, because you have two 40-watt light bulbs as individuals. You're burning at 40 watts, but when you come together, you're at 1,000,000 candles. So you have to understand the difference between being separated and being together, but you can't come together as a 25-watt. You have to be that whole 40 watts. You have to be able to shine on your own so that you can come together and create a whole new light of love. Your light will be created from love instead of just your own individual energies. So the union overall is codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. Now, when I was pulling these cards, the first thing that came to me on codependency isn't the regular things anymore. It's not drugs, alcohol, people. It's codependent upon the union. It's codependent upon waiting for this union to happen. It's codependent upon the what if, the when, all the energy that's put into the not knowing, not accepting that it's okay to not know. When you know things, you change too much. And if you aren't looking at, if you do get readings and you do see that, your masculine is thinking, it's trust and it's true love and what he's thinking and what he's feeling and what he's ready to do, and then all of a sudden you aren't doing what you need to do, then you're codependent upon an outcome. Don't be codependent upon an outcome. Accept it the way it is. So to clarify, see, there we are. We've got the house and the tree. We've got the house, the family, the everything, security, and the tree, which is, health and wishes come true. We're codependent. The union is saying, don't be codependent and be looking at these things to come from the union. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for our home and our health and our happiness to come from the union. That's not where it comes from. It comes from within ourselves. Don't be codependent waiting for this to happen. Create it for yourself. Because once you start to create it, even though I'm not saying you have to get to the middle class to become rich and famous and abundant before your twin's going to come back. That's not it at all. It's once you focus those energies towards achieving these things, just the energy turned and focused towards will bring the energies around and bring your twin back to you. Just don't be codependent on waiting for this outcome to happen while you're sitting there watching Family Guy. I mean, that's just not the way it's going to work. So the overall energy for the union is the thinking woman in reverse. Now, this comes back to the codependency and the overall, the overthinking, the too much time spent on the union. Focus on. You got the 4 and the 7, it equals 11, and it is the thinking about the union. You need to let go of all the thinking, of all the energy that's being put into the outcome. Don't worry about the outcome. Worry about one step at a time, one day at a time. If you're not in your mission, please, please ask your guides and angels what your mission is. Please take a baby step towards getting started. I found my mission. I was kind of freaked out to learn that I was told what it was about a year ago. And I've just now last month really taken, bigger steps into getting there. But I have a very long way to go. But I move as fast as I'm comfortable with moving, but it took a lot of negotiation between me and the angels to get to where I was. The details were kind of hammered out, let's say, because it's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of growth. And my big question to them was, if you want me to do this massive mission, which is very spiritual in nature, then how exactly do you expect me to, support myself while I get there? And then I was told, well, don't worry about it. Well, that's great that I don't worry about it, and I do trust and I do surrender, but then that does not mean sit back and do nothing. So I've had to kind of balance out this whole stressing over being supported financially and then getting into mission. So please don't stress over how much of your mission you get into. Just get the thought process started. Talk to your guides and angels. Just figure out what it is, and it will, I promise, it will take you into what you're truly passionate about and didn't even know you were. So quit thinking so much about the outcome of the union itself, and think more about what your mission is, and don't even worry about what your partner's part of it is, whether you're masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. Don't worry about their part of it. Get your part started, and it will come together, and they will mesh. I promise you, my masculine has been in his mission without even knowing it for several years, and what his part is going to be, it has to do with, some education and licensing and whatnot, and his part will, come later down the road. But neither one of us would have known that it was part of a divine mission. It's kind of awesome the way it's all going to play out. But anyhow, the divine, or in union, the ascended masters, they're, I can't even think of the word now. I've been talking so much. Their advice for the union is flow of prosperity. And this comes back to, codependency and reverse thinking. Let it all flow. Prosperity will come. The union will come. Let it all flow. Don't become codependent on an outcome. Don't be stuck on a specific outcome for your union. It may not turn out the way you expect it to. I know that mine's not going to. Mine, I thought we would never split, that I would just sit back and wait and put myself on a shelf, and I would understand that I needed to have patience, that he was having issues, and I needed to learn trust. And so even before I knew I was a twin, I already knew he was different, and there was something different. There was something different about our relationship. I already knew that it was special, and there was something different, and I was willing to do that, and that was great that I was willing to do that. It's great that women are willing, or men, I'm sorry, divine feminines are willing to do that, or the masculines are willing to put themselves on a shelf for their partners. But when you do that, you lose why you're here. You lose, when you're on a shelf, you aren't out there living your life, learning your lessons, moving forward in your mission. You aren't doing any of that. You aren't doing anything for yourself but putting yourself on a shelf and waiting for something that's never going to happen. So And I say it's never going to happen because if you're not moving forward and going in the flow and moving towards mission, then you're not moving towards union. So let everything flow. Let prosperity flow. Let everything flow. Release all the negativity. Release the stress. Go ahead and separate. And if you feel that you're not being treated the way you deserve to, or that you're liking, let it go. Let it go and give yourself all the love instead of giving them all of the anger or disappointment or all those low vibration negative things. Turn that around to positive high vibrations and give them back to yourself. Now, you know, in essence, if you have a twin flame, if they are your twin flame, whatever you give to yourself is going to your twin anyhow. So, in essence, if you love yourself, you love your twin. So how can you love your twin if you don't love yourself? So you have to love yourself first. That's our union energy. So the energy around the divine masculine this week is the reverse from the divine feminine from last week. The divine feminine had this in the upright, the magician and the mirror last week, and now the divine masculine has it in the reverse. The divine masculine is awakened, but he hasn't found himself. He can't look in the mirror and do the whole I love you, I love myself thing for himself yet. He has not found his gift. He has not found his intuition. He has not found his mission, but he is working with it. He is awakened, but he has not found that magical part of himself yet. And that's what he's trying to do with his learning to trust, but he's only, halfway there. He's still carrying the pain from the past, from his past hurts with women, and or I should say feminines, my bad. And so he likes to take it easy and flirt, but he doesn't understand the true love, but he doesn't quite understand the big picture of the connection. He knows there's a connection there that is magical, but he doesn't understand how it works for him yet. He understands how it works for the feminine. He's seen it, he understands it, but he's still confused about his part in it. So that's the overall energy and why he's taking things so slow. And the message from the masculine to the feminine is superhero. And number 31, the masculine sees the feminine as his superhero. He knows that she's very spiritual, she's very strong, she's found her goddess energy, and she is just his superhero. He wants her to know, you are my superhero. And once that he finds himself, then he'll be right there with her. But right now he's trying to follow in her footsteps and trying to learn how to trust and trying to learn how to regain and find himself and his inner magician. But he wants her to know that she is his superhero. And the energy around the divine feminine this week is victory, 28. My favorite numbers. This is my birthday. And victory, the divine feminine has found herself. She has found, I got a bad light here. She's found, still terrible, wow. She's got the wreath on her head, and she's got all these things, this gold, and she's victorious. She's found her inner self. She's come into harmonious union. She's victorious. She's come to the place where she is absolutely ready for union. It doesn't mean to stop what you're doing. Please continue what you're doing. You're on the right path. You've done the work. You're in your mission. You are victorious. You've reached that finish line, that line in the sand that says, here you go. Here's your ticket. You're ready for union. And you're waiting on your masculine. But it doesn't mean stop, because once your masculine awakens from you being in your own harmonious union, he's going to be able to move at 10 times the pace you did. Some people take, years to go through the awakening process, and because they were never spiritual or had any gifts they were aware of or used prior to their awakening, so it's taken them time to get there. Other people have been spiritual and gifted their entire lives and aware of who they are, and so the awakening process, towards ascension has gone a lot quicker. But the divine masculine, who was the unawakened one, will have her experience and everything she's gone through to move at 10 times the pace. So don't stop what you're doing. What you're doing is absolutely wonderful. You know this is the one. You know the chemistry's there. You've had visions of and intuition. You know this is the love of your life. And go forward with the separation. Know that your victorious, harmonious union is you loving yourself. You being able to look in that mirror and look in your own eyes and your own soul and say, I love you. Put your hand over your heart, in your heart chakra, and say, I love you. And know that connection goes to your twin. You not only love yourself, you love your twin, you love the person you are inside, which that love then reaches through their heart chakra and reaches them also. So the message from the divine feminine to the divine masculine is entangled. Now what's funny here is we have the number 13, which is the exact reverse from superhero 31. So the twins are in sync. You see this? 31, 13. They're just the reverse. So he wants her to know that she is his superhero, and she wants him to know that they are entangled. They are from... Like I see union like if you want to put it in a picture or a symbol, all 7 chakras of both counterparts, their tentacles entwining together until they're one. So when I say that I can see, the heart chakra tentacles, intertwined together, and I can feel that, that's because, we're in separation and we are a bit of a distance apart from each other. But, I believe that once all of our chakras align together at the same vibration, then the tentacles will come together and entangle, and that's when we know we're in union. It's not about sex or some physical thing or getting married. It's about complete energetic alignment, and we already vibrate at the same frequency so that we can understand who the other partner is, but this is about entanglement with our chakras aligning and entangling together. So the feminine wants the masculine to know that they have started to entangle, that they are divine twin flames, they are entangled for life, for now and forever, and that she will be waiting for him to draw him in closer. And I believe at this point in time, I would think that several twin flame partners are connected at least, 75% of the way, because you have to get 100% to be the union. But like I said, personally, I haven't really checked in much lately in the 5D to see what tentacle level we're at, but I feel a lot of changes coming on this past weekend. I don't believe there was this huge shift that was supposed to happen as far as an awakening on the 16th. I think the twins in this second wave are already awakened. This shift was more an energetic thing with the equinoxes coming up. On Tuesday we had a new moon on the 17th. I don't think everybody popped up awake. I just think that we're just more aware. Energy always, gets shifted when people focus on one specific date, and I do think some things change with the solar flare. But I do feel more connected to my divine masculine. I have been having lucid dreams even while I'm awake. I can be watching something and then there's a thought totally random that goes somewhere else off in some other world. I think I'm actually living through him and seeing through him. So I believe that our chakras are more aligned and entangled than I'm even aware of, because I keep shifting in and out of my own timeline. So all in all, know that the masculine, he's trying. He's still got some trust issues to work out. They definitely have to do with kind of being bit in the ass by feminine from his past. And I don't mean that as females, I mean feminine energy, how we roll with, how our souls are and what energy we're rocking. He does understand it's true love, and he is wishing to take that risk, to take that leap, And the feminines, you know this is your man, you know this is your masculine, you know you want the whole family deal. You will have visions. Um, if you open up your own chemistry and pay attention to who you are and what you've been given, you know you're awakened. If you're awakened, then you have more psychic abilities than you ever did. Meditate with those, use those, learn how they operate, get with your masculine in 5D, try to tap into that, communicate, know you are his superhero. He knows that you know you're entangled. He thinks you're his superhero, and everything is looking really good as long as you go with the flow. Don't be codependent on an outcome. Please release so much thinking. Let things flow. And I think very soon we'll find the second wave of twins in union. And maybe on the next reading, the next video, I will try to find some type of timeline or gathering place for the 144,000 to come together. I know it does exist, and I know I had found it previously, and I rejected it. I find it hard for people to say, I am this or I am that, and you'll see in my description box below, I don't really much care for labels. I'm not one to quote unquote flatter myself. That was kind of beat out of me at a younger age. What I know is what I'm told. What I know is what I'm shown. What I know is what I know. It's in my heart. It's what I grew up with. It's what I've been shown my entire life. I have been protected my entire life by angels. I've been given gifts of empath abilities. My empathic abilities are so strong now that I can project feelings as well as feel them. So if you would like a reading, everything is down below listed. I want to thank you for all your donations and your likes, subscribes, and I also do have a spirituality blog, which is listed down below. And please, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. My email address is down below. I'm available right now kind of on a 24/7 basis. Just let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'll be glad to listen to anything. And if you disagree, that is fine. I know there's a lot of information out there. I'm sorry to just burst bubbles and put it out there so bluntly, but this one thing I promised you when I started this channel and these readings was I would never give false information. I don't feel good with that. I don't feel good having gifts exploited or this journey exploited. It's very near and dear to my heart. My mission is huge. My involvement on this journey is huge. I give my whole life to it, and I won't have it taken down by people that don't know, that don't understand, that are false twins, false prophets, whatever. So I share so much love with all of you, unconditional love. That's why we're all here. I've said it my entire life, that we are here on this planet to learn unconditional love. And lo and behold, I become a twin and learn that's the exact truth. So I love this. I love this whole awakening ascension path. It's part of who I've been my entire life. It's just now I understand it. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your patience. And I will read through this video and pin the actual card spread for you. But I really do believe if you skipped through it and didn't watch it, you do go back and watch the beginning, the first 15 minutes or so, because it is very important that this truth gets out there. I really appreciate you, and I love you all so much, and blessed be.